Let's start with maybe the craziest adventure that I've had in my life. And we asked the guy who gave us the pizza, where do you think we should sleep? Like, can we just go over there in an area? And he's like, do you have any weapons, guys? And we're like, no weapons. It's, to put it short, it's a Red Bull event.
3, 2, 1.
Which gathers 300 teams with the goal of starting in a random European city and needing to get to Berlin in 7 days.
We have 7 days to reach Berlin.
But you don't have a phone, you don't have money, you don't have any way to contact anyone.
Where are we going?
And you have to trade Red Bull cans for everything. It often happened that I would have an average of, let's say, 12 to 14 hour shifts.
Yeah.
I got to even 17-hour shifts. A contract arrived that was too big and I had to make a decision. You're on that fence. And thankfully, it arrived at the good time where it was like, look, the opportunity is here. Either go back to your 16-hour job or take an opportunity that is unknown, but that is something new and what you want to do. It's a new type of thought pattern. Using my phone, I work, but using my phone, I also have distractions.
Would you say that has been the hardest and so far in the A circuit?
An interesting point recently was as well that, in a way, I don't need vacation anymore. But as an entrepreneur, there's no more concept of vacation because now your dream is yours to achieve. And if you take time to go and sit on the beach and not think about anything, nothing will be done.
Nicolas, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Elliot.
I know that last year you participated in something very interesting with Red Bull. Can you share with us this story?
Absolutely. Let's start with maybe the craziest adventure that I've had in my life, honestly. It's, to put it short, it's a Red Bull event, which gathers 300 teams from all types of nationalities with the goal of starting in a random European city and needing to get to Berlin in 7 days with the most points collected possible. To collect points, you have to go through cities all around Europe, but you don't have a phone, you don't have money, you don't have any way to contact anyone, and you have to exchange Red Bull cans for everything. So food, transportation, or accommodation. And it's a completely crazy challenge that puts you kind of in a game mode for about that week. It's 7 days and a half. And you suddenly don't have access to the normal things you have in your life, which is your phone to text people, the map to know where you are. You don't have any way to contact friends or set something up. And you don't have money. So when you have to go and you need something, you have to go fight for it, talk to people, get rejected, get accepted, get helped. And it just throws you in a bit of, let's see what happens. And it's a pretty cool adventure.
So bringing me back to the first day, you start on Monday?
I start on a Monday, let's say, I believe it was a Monday or a Tuesday. And I have until the next week, Monday, Tuesday, to make it to Berlin.
To reach the destination.
Exactly.
And so the first night you start with nothing and you have to sleep somewhere. You have to find out you're in a city, right? So
yes.
You need to...
Yeah.
How do you find a place to sleep?
You and your teammates, so you have 2 other teammates. I start in Budapest. And our plan before starting the race, you get a couple hours to kind of prepare your attack. We decided that our best plan was to start by going to Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia, because it was relatively close in distance and there was a good amount of points. What usually happens is that you don't know what happens in Bratislava or what there is in Bratislava or what there isn't. And so the plan, which was actually most of the plan for the rest of the trip, was get to a place and figure it out. At the end, that's kind of what the trip is about is, find your way to a place and then improvise from there what you're going to eat, how you're going to sleep, etc.
And all of that to exchange a Red Bull can.
Exactly. And
Wow.
so, for example, for the Bratislava, so our first night, we arrived there sometime in the evening. To get to Bratislava, we went to a Four Seasons hotel, and myself, who was working at the Dolder Grand, and my cousin, who was part of the adventure, who's a videographer for hotels, we kind of showed him who we were. And he's like, okay, look, you guys are from the hospitality industry. I'll help you out. So he bought us a Flixbus ticket to Bratislava. We end up there. We exchanged in Bratislava a Red Bull can for a slice of pizza each. And we asked the guy who gave us the pizza, where do you think we should sleep? Like, can we just go over there in an area? And he's like, do you have any weapons, guys? And we're Like, nope, no
Right.
weapons. What is? And he's like, okay, look, just don't go over there. Just don't go over there. And we walked around Bratislava until we find some random guy that asked us what we were looking at, because we were looking through like some windows and stuff. He's like, yeah, we need a place to stay, etc. What do we do? And he's like, I got you. And he brought us to his hotel area and bought a room for us. And after explaining the whole story, he was like, you guys are awesome guys. I'll help you out. That was our first night.
Do you face a lot of rejections?
Yeah.
You have to negotiate a lot?
Yes. It's constant no's. It's like, I don't care about your story. Don't look at me. As soon as you say, we have no phones, no money, they're like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. So it's constantly no, 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 no. And then you refine your story until you get a yes, or someone just helps you out of goodwill.
That's very interesting. So you iterate, you try, you change what doesn't work, you try, you change what doesn't work. That relates a lot to entrepreneurship, and we will talk after about your own startup and company now after. Yeah. But first, you graduated in 2023. 2 years have passed since then. How does it feel? And maybe something that could help people like me and my friends and people from EHL. You're 2 months before you graduate, and what do you think? Do you know where you go? Do you know what industry you want to work for? Do you know what skills you want to learn? Bring me back to this time of 2023, 2 months before graduating.
I was one of the rather small percentage, let's say 30 percentile of EHL students that stays in hospitality. Especially because before that, I had really loved hospitality. I had loved the service to people. I had loved the ability to learn how to treat people at the highest extent. And so I knew when I was going to graduate that I wanted to stay in hospitality. And I knew that I wanted to head into events, which is a bit more of the fun, chaotic side of hospitality where a lot of stuff happens. I had been a waiter at a 4-star hotel in California, at a 5-star hotel in London, at the Monaco Yacht Club already before. So I knew already how to be at that standard. But I wanted a new challenge. And so I went to I decided to apply to the best hotels in the country, in Switzerland, with the ultimate goal actually of being, I want to go learn German. Zurich came out as the main option because apart from being in the Swiss German side, it also had the best hotel in the country, the Dolder Grand, and which is at the time it was ranked number 2 in Europe after a hotel in Hamburg. So it was the highest level, and I became an event supervisor there. I knew this already before graduating. I think I got the yes in about April. So in the last few months of EHL, I knew, okay, I have my job set, and I was excited. Events supervisor at the Dolder Grand, I was like, top.
That's a nice position to start with after graduating.
Yeah, it's actually close to the best balance you can get as a recent graduate in the hospitality industry. It's not a waiter. A lot of us have already done that. And it's not a manager yet. And it's just kind of that middle role where you get to learn how to manage while still being taught stuff. And so I think it fit quite well into how to start your EHL career or your post-EHL career. And I learned a lot.
You were directly responsible for organizing events, or you were learning from... How does it play out when you get there?
At the Dolder Grand, I then worked at the Park Hyatt, which had slightly different systems. But at the Dolder Grand, I was one of 4 supervisors. And I still had above me an assistant manager and a manager who gave us the plan of the events for the week. And then my role was to read that plan and then tell a team of service men and women what we were going to do. Which wines, what food, what time, who does what tables, who serves which wine, when do we clean up, when do we send food. So it was very, very operational. I did the service myself in many ways, or at least I led the service team. But it was a lot of, okay, how do we manage a team to make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible? And that was way harder than I thought. Way harder. So
a lot of unplanned, a lot of last minute change.
Yeah. And 5 stars is, you can't do much, you can't do worse than perfection, actually, because then it looks bad. So learning how to reach perfection when you don't know what you're getting into 100% yet means that you do a lot of mistakes at the start. You get yelled at a lot. And I had the added sword in the stomach, which was that I was learning German still. And I had to direct a team in German, in a language I was actively learning. So it meant a lot of things not understood and the mistakes done on my end.
Did you speak German before going to Zurich?
As a Swiss French, as a Suisse Romand, you learn it at school.
Right, but I mean...
And we all know kind of what that means, you know? So
Yes,
yeah,
we know
I
what
could
it means.
speak the base level of German, I guess, but by no means was I professionally able to lead yet at the time.
Okay.
But it was a challenge that I knew was coming. I knew that this position and the fact that it was in German, I was throwing myself into the fire. But when is any better time to throw oneself into fire is at the start, go and figure it out.
And I think that's the best way to learn a language. I really resonate to that because I did the same with Italian. I went to Florence to work in a restaurant as a help sommelier, and it was the same. You would go in the kitchen and get yelled at in Italian, so you learn the bad words directly. You start with the bad words.
Absolutely.
But little by little, you understand, and after you have a very practical language, I'd say, because you know the useful word, the words that
actually are used.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you transition to Parc Hayat.
That's right. Apart from the difficulties of the Dolder Grand, I also had a team that, for a positive person like myself, was too negative and a bit. I wouldn't say they were unhelpful because they were helpful in many ways, but it's not like it was a place that you wanted to learn at. It was a lot of negativity, a lot more screaming than teaching in a way, which at the end you learn a lot as well. But after 1 year, I decided that I had seen enough of that kind of management. I had seen enough of the let's yell before teaching. That was kind of the idea that I got. I wasn't free from yelling. I mean, I made mistakes, so I understood. But it was a way of working that was too negative, And the Parc Hyatt had the opposite mentality. They are an American brand, so they kind of have a bit more like, let's take care of our workforce and our people.
Okay, the corporate friendly way. Okay.
Exactly. And that actually resonated in their management, and they took care of you. My first birthday I spent at the Parc Hyatt. I got a little gift from them, so you could already tell that it was a different vibe. And the Parc Hyatt was also very good is that I was the only supervisor. So that meant that you had your say and you didn't have people doubling up on you or your ideas. And that also allowed me to learn a bit more and to be more comfortable with my team and know that I could take responsibility even further for how the event would run.
Yeah, of course. Maybe for some students that are interested to work in event, one normal day that you have in Parc Hayat, you wake up in the morning, you go to work, what it is about, how do you start? Or maybe as it is very seasonal, you were receiving a brief from the event you had to organize, and then you go through the list. How do you do the daily in events management?
Yeah, as an event manager, you receive a list from someone above you with the name of the event, the people, the main organizer, the main contact person, what you're going to serve for food, for drinks, and the general timeline or a very specific timeline. What happens in events is that, especially when you're a manager, you need to be there before everyone else to make sure that the room is ready, that the food is ready, that the drinks are cold, that everything is in place. Then the team arrives. You have to teach all of them what's about to happen. You run the entirety of the event, which can take many hours, and then you clean everything that just happened. And in many cases, you set up that same room for tomorrow's event, which can mean setup changes, which can mean leaving it as it is maybe for tomorrow, or it can mean really like opening more doors, changing things around. So it often happened that I would have an average of, let's say, 12 to 14-hour shifts.
Yeah.
I got to even 17-hour shifts, and I don't think there were too many days where I did under 9 hours. I can probably count on one hand over a year and a half, 2 years of events that lasted under 9 hours, or where I was at work for under 9 hours. And that at the end, when you throw into your fire, it's what you want, but it's mentally and physically very draining.
Was it worth it?
Yes, I think.
Would you say it's a good place to start when you graduate from EHL? If you want to become tough, you go in event management.
Yeah, you'll learn the most about stress management, about your own stress, about how to work with a team, and how to be tough. Because you get yelled at, you get pushed around, other people have different opinions. You will mess up and suffer grave consequences when that happens. So you really learn responsibility. You really, it's a great place to start when you are young and motivated. Because if you're young and motivated and you go to a random normal job, let's say, then you will have your normal hours and you will go home and perfect. Good life, you get good salary in Switzerland and you can go on vacation. But the people that then make it very far, that are kind of a bit different, are the ones that said, okay, let's go straight into the fire. So for EHL and EHL alumni, I highly recommend testing yourself now. When you're young, when you can fail, when you can look stupid, because testing yourself when you're much older, you look even stupider and you have less time.
And I don't think you do it. Because as you said, when you start with a comfortable job, which is totally fine, but then you get used to it, you get used to the comfort, you forget the comfort that you have because you have it every day. And I think from this going to the fire, it's an almost impossible step to do. Some do, but I would say you're better off doing it from the start than after, right?
I think so too. And going above the level that you think you can work is an important step also to make, because you know your worth. But if you know that it's here and you go place yourself here where everyone else is here, then you will go there. You have no choice. So this is kind of the mentality that I think EHLers should kind of strive for, with such a crazy background, such a crazy school that we went to. I think we should put ourselves at the next level, see really how much we can do. We're very special in general with the fact that we're going to EHL, usually with our languages or with the things that our parents have built or the things that we aspire to be. And I think there's no point in hiding once you go into the real world and hiding with, the normal jobs. I recommend going a step further.
That's very important. I think that's very important. From EHL, would you attribute some of your skills, qualities that you have today to the school? Would you, if you would have a teacher or someone that you appreciated in this school, what would you say to him? How would you thank him for something that he gave you?
I think teachers were in this. I couldn't necessarily say that it was one teacher that helped, but I think it was the general culture of EHL that I hope keeps being held now that the school is growing and there's more people coming and stuff, that there's a culture aspect here that needs to be held, which is we are social people. We were chosen because of our personalities. We were chosen usually for the way we managed to talk in our initial EHL interview. And from going out into the real workplace and seeing everyone else do their job, I can tell you that EHLers have the talk. They can go and they can sell and they can convince and they can go well dressed and they have a feel of how to do business, how to do it in a good way, and socially are very adaptable and very easily learn how to manage these situations and know in the end how to work, how to manage teams, how to do all these things. And that I hope is kept, because what the most special part about EHL is that we're able to do anything when it comes to talking.
It's the adaptation in social context.
Yeah, we know how to work with people. That's one huge thing about EHL, because we have people in hospitality and banks and this and that and entrepreneurship, but we know how to talk. We know how to do the people side. And that's very important, because it's the relationship that gets you success or not in the end in the world.
I think this idea that whatever you do, you always have to sell something, right? Like if it's not an idea that you're selling, if it's not a pitch deck or a company that you're selling yourself. And but on this, I think you have this particular skill, because I remember we were in Millism together, and I was still a very young student, and I was impressed because you presented the whole day with the mic in front of everyone, and I think that is not something every EHLers has or have, yeah. And how did it come, this presentation skill? Because I know now you did the Monaco Yacht Show, you did a lot, and I also think that this helps you communicate to a team when you have to organize an event. This communication skill is very important. As you say, maybe it prevents you from yelling.
Yeah,
maybe a bit. I don't know. But no. So how did it came for you? This okay. talker skill?
Yeah, I did have a small passage through America, and I think Americans have this thing of whatever, let's talk. You know, they have a very going at it personality.
Small talk.
Yes, I'm Swiss born and raised. I'm from Lausanne, and I went back to EHL for Lausanne, but for 4 years I did high school in America. And so I learned a bit from that mentality of extrovertedness. I was already very extroverted before, so I think it pushed it even further. And at EHL, I got the chance to start presenting some events, millésime, some gala dinners. I did rugby nights, which were very famous as well at EHL, which is, you know, you go on stage and you present in an auction style a lot of the rugby players. Those who know it, I don't need to explain more. But that also pushed me to start being in front of people that I trusted and just talking. And I felt comfortable there.
Is this the night where they end up half naked on stage?
That's correct. Yep, that's correct. You're in front of a big group of girls, and then you have these rugby guys doing all these dancing, and it's a super fun event. But it's a lot of people, and but you can be a bit nervous for sure at the start. So I got experience at EHL, how to be an event presenter, and how to start looking out at how do you organize events for the guests, for you, for everyone else. So that was the kind of where it all started.
And practically, how do you prepare for a speech? You know, you have to talk in front of people. I had to do, many of us in EHL have to do it. Even if it's a group presentation, I feel we have to do it since day one almost. How do you get about prepping for a presentation, whether it is a big one or a small one? Because at the end, I think the skill is the same, right?
Yeah. I am a big improviser, but you can only improvise as long as you know your text or what you're about to present in a very thorough way. So whether it's when I go to event to present an event or do a gala dinner as a speech or this or that, I have to be I have to know everything that's in front of me, so that then when I kind of improvise or go left and right, I know how to come back and easily transition. So you need to know your text. You need to go over it many times. Maybe say it out loud a couple times as well. Articulate to make sure that everyone understands you. Little voice stuff like that. And then there's lots more tricks as to how to be prepared. But the most important is you need to be completely sure what you're about to say and what's in front of you right now. And the only thing is revising it, reading it, rereading it, checking how it sounds, editing it a bit. But you need to have a full understanding of what is it that you're about to do. Yeah.
And this, I think, helps you quite a lot until now. I mean, 2 years... 2 years on, and you did a lot of things. Monaco Yacht Show. Do you wanna share a bit this experience with us? Because I mean, it's a real case of presenting in front of a lot of people.
Yeah, Monaco was a very special chapter for me. I went for my BOSC 4 internship to the Monaco Yacht Club as a purchasing assistant. As just a completely normal guy, would receive boxes in the morning, put them where they needed to go. That's it. But then I got the opportunity, because I spoke English and was very extroverted, someone in the company spotted me and said, you know what, we have an event coming up, and this guy who speaks English very eloquently and who is young can certainly do this role. Now, in Monaco, there were 2 events that were presented. The Monaco Yacht Show, which is where I work with cameramen to cover it for some of the companies that work there. But the one that really is the most interesting is the Monaco Energy Boat Challenge.
The one you presented.
Yes, which is a 40-plus university event where all of these engineering students from around the world come with their school, build an electric boat or renewable energy boat on the spot, and then race with it. So I had a dedicated camera team that I brought with very high-level videographers and editors. I, at the time, was, let's say, not a skilled presenter, but I was already a presenter, and I knew what needed to be done. And so I commentated the races, made social media content, interviews, and brought a bit of a community aspect. As I was young and they were young, I could easily make it all feel like we're in this together. Let's do this event together. And that's what made the success of this event. I did it over multiple years, and every time the contracts got bigger, we got more and more trust from them, and we could really show how good of how a good event was supposed to look. So even though it's a engineering competition, It had huge reach. We made great videos and people really enjoyed it. And the students that came, engineering students, had a good time. So I was very proud to have been able to do that for so many years, every summer.
Are you still continue to do that? You still go back?
Yeah, there was an issue this summer, which is that I had another event to present at the same time. And I had to make a decision. And there was some decisions made also from the Yacht Club Monaco side that made it that this year I may not be able to go to present the Energy Boat Challenge. But I think my absence was a bit felt. I received messages from the students saying, "Hey, Nico, where are you?" You know, and they had to replace me with some other people that maybe didn't fit exactly the type of thing that this event needed. Positively for me, it means that I did have an impact. I was the professional they needed for that job, but I had to go work at another event for the continuity of that one too. Hopefully next summer there's no problem with timing and I can do both. But unfortunately this year I couldn't be there. But I did 3 times in a row, and hopefully next year we go again.
Well, we hope for you. Yeah. Did you not go because of the A circuit? Was it an event with A circuit?
Yes. The A circuit started getting calls from bigger and bigger events, and one that was so big between entre guillemets and between that I had to quit the Park Hyatt for it. Until then, I was doing both at the same time, having a full-time job and presenting events using my vacation days or using my weekends. But then a contract arrived that was too big, and I had to make a decision. You're on that fence, and thankfully, it arrived at a good time where it was like, look, the opportunity is here. Either go back to your 16-hour job, or take an opportunity that is unknown, but that is something new and what you want to do. And so I went, and the A circuit became my full focus, and I went and presented this event with the A circuit.
I think it's very interesting, sacrifices in entrepreneurship. But before, maybe just can you explain the A circuit? What is it? And so I understand you started not earlier than 2025. I thought it was from the beginning of the year. But can you explain a bit what you're doing with this mission that you have? I'd say. Yeah.
It started in January 2025. The company was officially open in March 2025. The idea for this came last summer, and it's an events services company. It evolves through time. It's still evolving now as to what direction it takes, because it has a lot of potential and of places it can work in. But long story short, I am the founder and main organizer of the A Circuit events, which means through the A Circuit, I receive contracts to present events. So they contract me, the speaker, but the contracts run through this company. And with my company website, I put out all my work. That's event presenting. Then I have event organization. So the A Circuit organizes A Circuit events, which are, in my words, unique events that take you to unexpected places. The idea is with the A Circuit events that we are all a lot on our phones now. It consumes a lot of our time. And there's a different way to spend your weekends than being on the couch on your phone or going out and having 1 million beers with your friends, which is perfect. But there is I want to bring a different way to do an event. That included an event in Locarno earlier this year, which is a weekend tourism event. I bring a group of people there and I have a whole weekend organized from Friday to Sunday with food, with activities, with unique places of the city. I would say I'm self-proclaimed geographical genius. So I spend a lot of time looking at the map, seeing how to take people around and how to find the best viewpoints, the best places, etc. That's on the tourism event side. And then just a few weeks ago, we had Zug, which is called an event called Zug, the game, which is I have the area of the canton of Zug, becomes a game map. And then teams of friends can come sign up and then spend the day walking around Zug, doing different challenges that help you discover Switzerland, or in this case, the canton of Zug. In Canton of Zug, you had lakes, villages, towns, and waterfalls, and
it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful. Switzerland is beautiful, but in both of these events, I want to take people to unique places, unexpected places, and give them something different. It's usually very affordable as well because my target market is kind of our age group. It's us, so I don't want to be out here doing something 5-star. It's more, let's make it as easily as possible for people to do something different with their day and with their weekend. So that's event creation.
Okay, but that would mean that you don't have a. I mean, I can sign up to. I just pay the ticket. Everything is organized, and the goal is that I go to these events, few days or one day, and I meet other people that are also in this trip.
Exactly.
Okay, so you do a trip with someone that you don't know, with people that you don't know.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
You come with your friend, so you have someone there that you get to spend time with, but
Right.
you ideally also meet a community of people that also agreed to go do a kind of unique event
And meet other people.
and meet other people. Exactly.
That's very
It's
interesting.
social, it's unique, and I try to make it as unexpected as possible to bring something new to Switzerland and bring something new to people in general.
Sorry.
No, sorry. This Zug the game, maybe you notice it sounds a lot like Red Bull Can You Make It? So as I was in the middle of Europe running around with no money and no food, I was like, this is amazing. I'm in a game with my friends going around Slovakia or Austria or Prague or Amsterdam. And that's kind of how it all started, where, this is great. And so many people wanted to do the Red Bull challenge. I thought, why don't we bring it here where we have such beautiful landscape and try to make a community here. So that's kind of what's underway now.
It's very interesting. That there is this idea that today we are hyper connected with everyone because of the social media and everything. But at the end of the day, it's always fictional, and those type of connection living really in our body, I would say, really for real in real life, experiences with other people. I think we miss that a lot, and generally people they miss that a lot, because I think online gathering and online social media are very nice to connect with people, to keep connected, to be kept connected with people, but it doesn't replace this needs of connection, real connection that we have. So I think it's a very important mission that you do here. And let's go back to the sacrifices. We just touched this before. You became an entrepreneur, the real title, whatever it means, but you become one, and you have to do sacrifices. How does that play in your life? How do you cope with that? What's your strategy to overcome the challenges and the failure? Because entrepreneurship is full of failures.
Yeah, this has been a fascinating problem as a new entrepreneur, because unless you've tried your own companies or your own stuff before, you suddenly go from a full-time job where someone tells you what to do to you're alone with your mission. And the word that resonates in this environment, apart from sacrifices, is also discipline. Because it's hard to know what to sacrifice if you can't be consistent in your discipline. And I'm still struggling a lot with this, having to wake up and do stuff early in the morning when no one else is there to tell you what to do. I love my bed. It's super comfortable. So on many days I wake up and I'm like, I could stay here longer. The work can wait. But over time, the first few days is fine. But over time you realize you have to start being more disciplined. And I say this as I'm saying this like I already do it, but I'm still learning a lot about it and how to be as disciplined as possible with my own work, with my own dream. But I learn every day. Okay, where do you have to be more focused? Where do you have to work more? This is especially relevant now because I travel a lot, and for most of us, before being entrepreneurs, traveling is like, let's go on vacation. On my phone, you do whatever you want. You go eat at the airport. But now I am working at the airport. I'm working on the plane if there's Wi-Fi. I'm working on the train, because if I'm not working then where am I going to work? That's my office now.
You need to optimize.
Yeah. And so sacrifices in this sense is, okay, get up early, even when no one tells you to get up early. Sacrifices is say no to your friends that want to hang out so you can spend time finishing the website that I told myself I was going to do. Now, as a very social person, I have to say, going out with friends usually wins. That still wins, but I'm learning how to balance it. But I talk to this a lot with my parents. It's a new type of thought pattern. Using my phone, I work, but using my phone, I also have distractions. I spend all day videoing things and then editing them on my phone as well, or maybe away from the computer. So I have to learn how to work like this, which was not a thing before. And so these are all ways of saying, okay, now don't go on social media. Make sure you do your work. Don't get distracted. Turn off the distractions, this and that. So it's been a battle of, okay, what do we do with this new life? Where are the sacrifices now? What do I need to take out of my life to make sure that I can add to my profession? That's been very interesting, and I'm still not anywhere near understanding it. It's a very day-to-day battle.
Are there some things that you had to let go because you knew that that would make you slower in the process, and you knew that?
Yeah, alcohol. Not that I used to be a big drinker, but I, as an extroverted person, I love going out. I love spending time with my friends. I love doing all that stuff. And now I have to be more and more conscious of, if I want to go out and have a beer with my friends, those 3-4 hours that I'm in town at the bar are 3-4 hours that I actually need to work on my own business. On the weekend, let's say, doesn't matter, it's a weekend, ça va. But on a Tuesday, why are you out having beers with your friends? You can, it's your life. But sometimes I also have to think, maybe not. Maybe do finish the website, maybe send those emails, maybe make sure the company insurance is up to date, the finances, etc. And those are the little sacrifices you kind of have to start adding. Again, still a new problem to have and still not the most disciplined with it, but I see it and I know where the points of improvement are in front of me.
Would you say you have because I know that alcohol is very linked to social, and we are all the same, and I think especially in EHL, for us the two are really intertwined together. Would you say it has cost you it has cost you relationships?
I wouldn't say it has cost me relationships. I think it has distracted me. Thankfully, I have a perfectly normal relationship with it. I drink when I want to go hang out with my friends, but
right. But in the sense of like you know that some people, because you're not so social anymore, they see you, maybe they say you changed, or you became too serious, or you became boring.
Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna let that happen. I'm now attempting to find the perfect balance between going out, spending time with my friends who I deeply need to talk to and spend time with to be able to keep going. So I will just try to find the balance between just having time with people and getting the work done. So far, it's been rather successful. I'm not too bad at it. I don't think anyone has told me, Nicolas, you're so different now that you're this and that. But it also shows that I have still more discipline to have, because I know that I should sometimes stay home instead of going out for a drink or have a coffee with a friend. But work in progress.
Okay. So you would resume saying that, because we hear that a lot, right? The hustle culture, you need to go fully in monk mode. That's a thing.
Yeah.
I hear. You would say that's not the ideal way to go for you. It's more a balance between enjoying the process and.
I'm a huge fan of enjoying life as a full. I love to maximize the hours I have in my day, which includes working and going out with friends. I think you can be a monk, and I think some people definitely have it in them when they become entrepreneurs to put your head down, just lock in, like we like to say, go and sacrifice the next few months to really focus on your stuff. Unfortunately, don't work that way. I don't know, maybe if it's the case for other EHLs or other very extroverted people. I need people to stay happy and to have a chat with and to bounce ideas off of. So you have to choose your own path in a way and analyze what works best for you now as an entrepreneur. Do you want to put your head down, lock your door and your windows for the next 3 weeks? Or do you have to be careful to balance your things out so that you have the right amount of positiveness from this side and the right amount of work done on the other? An interesting point recently was as well that in a way I don't need vacation anymore. People these days are like, let's go on vacation, stop thinking about work. But as an entrepreneur, there's no more concept of vacation, because now your dream is yours to achieve. And if you take time to go and sit on the beach and not think about anything, nothing will be done. But so find the right way to go and find the things you love while going and grinding and going and staying in this nonstop mode. Because at the start, it has to be nonstop or it won't take off in a way.
Right. Maybe it's phases as well, right? Some phases you have some season, right?
Yeah.
You have to be the monk and stay in your abbey and not seeing anyone, not to be distracted, and then you can relax a bit and
For sure.
right. I think it's
Each
very
person
important.
has their path to that. I have.
But you're saying you have to. Again, we spoke about this earlier, but iterate to find your own, success key. Let's say.
Yeah. It's a very unique path, I think, entrepreneurship as well, because it's your idea and maybe you have an industry around it, but you are the centerpiece. So you need to know kind of what's going on in your mind, in your world, and in your physical health, mental health, to be able to be as effective as possible. I had this summer many days where I was like, I need to learn a bit more about my mental state now that I have these new challenges, because I didn't expect to have to think all the time so much. Or I didn't expect this to be so hard, or I didn't expect that to fail. And when you're alone, then how do you deal with yourself if you feel sad, or if you feel happy, or if you feel like you didn't do enough, or etc. So that's been a really interesting path, and you have to, as an entrepreneur, do it yourself. No one's going to come rescue you. I learned this at the Dolder Grand. Part of the reason it was so hard is because I learned there that nobody cares about you. You are your own pirate in your ship. No one's going to come and be like, hey, look, just so you know, this is how you should do this is it. No. Usually you come, you forget all of the things you have to do, and someone yells at you instead of teaching it. And in some cases, it's good to have someone teach you stuff and hold your hand, but most people in most jobs, you figure it out. So now, yeah.
Would you say that has been the hardest and so far in the circuit?
Yeah. It's the aloneness.
The loneliness.
Yeah. It's not loneliness per se, especially because I was able to balance with time. It's more you have to think about every little minute detail. And this is nothing new. This is entrepreneurship. But going from non-entrepreneur to entrepreneur, sometimes some people, maybe myself, realize, okay, it's actually just me here. I can't, quickly tell someone to help me with this, or, hey, can you answer my emails? Or, hey, did you put the right numbers on the finance sheet of the last month's payment? It's like you have to check every single number and where it came from, and that the event you're organizing is going correctly, that enough people saw it, that the signups are going well, the money you paid to this person is going out. So, and you have to improve, because if you're not improving as well as doing the basics, then you're also not going to go anywhere. And that's a very lonely job, but that's what it is. So it's exciting and it's your idea, but you have to be like, it's just me here.
I think as we were speaking before the recording started, there is this phase where at the beginning you're alone because you're believing alone in your vision. But the thing is, no one can understand your vision because it's in your head, and most of the time you can't even really put it in words. But after a time, when you start getting a bit of results, people understand, and there you get the success.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a phase again where you really have to go through hell, through the fire, and then it gets, let's say, easier because people understand, and then they're willing to help you.
Yeah, and that going through the fire is, as we started this talk, is how to do it, or at least how I learned to do it in a completely professional, like full-time job type of way. And throwing myself into the fire helped a lot. It was probably the best part of it. So, yeah, get yourself to go through the fire. Absolutely.
Would there be some philosophy that drives your life that can help with this suffering, with this hardships? If there is a frame that you see life and that gets a bit easier?
One aspect of myself that I think is one of my strongest is optimism. Often people say, be pessimistic so that if it turns out well, you'll be even more surprised. And if it turns out bad, well, then you knew it. But I think optimism is a super youthful feeling, because when you're optimistic about stuff, then you can only visualize things turning out well. And if things turn out bad, then you have more stuff to figure out. But then if you think positively in the best possible case scenario, then you're doing everything to get to that place. And optimism stops you from getting mad about stupid things. It stops you from getting annoyed when things outside of your control go wrong. And it gives you strength to say, what is my reaction to this problem or to this situation? How can I be the most optimistic about it and come out smiling on the other side? And I think it's good to keep being optimistic and to teach people in general to be optimistic about stuff. And especially out in today's world, we have enough pessimism going on. So if you can be the one optimistic voice in the room or the one optimistic thought in your head, then that's going to go much further than any pessimism can bring you.
But would it mean that you expect something, you always expect things to go well when you take a bet on anything? You take a bet. Entrepreneurship is about taking some bets, and you expect that it will go well, or because I have this paradox where, I mean, it's a new perspective to say always be optimistic, because I prefer to be neutral or even pessimistic, because then when I say, that's the Murphy's law, things will necessarily go wrong or the way you think they will go wrong, and at least you're not disappointed. How do you manage this the disappointment when things doesn't go your way with the optimistic perception of life?
Optimism allows you to aim higher. Actually, like I kind of said earlier, try to go to the next level. Optimism means you're seeing something bigger than maybe it'll end up being. But at least you're aiming for that and not aiming for the middle. And so when you eventually do get disappointed, because you will, then I have the thought, okay, it didn't work out because of my own work. I aimed up here. What is it between what I achieved and what's up here that I missed throughout this project? If an event doesn't sell out, I aimed for 40 people at the event and 10 come. Where are those 30 people? Then that gives you the space to analyze, how do we get those extra 30 people? If I had gone for the pessimistic approach, I would have gone for, okay, let's go for 5 or 10 people. And that's where you would have aimed at, and you would have reached your target, and perfect, then I can stay there. But if I aim for that, then it shows me, what am I missing then? How can I improve to get to those 40 people? What's missing? And I organized some pretty good events that, on an organizational perspective, worked. But from a marketing perspective, didn't. And so I learned a lot. Okay, maybe I can organize stuff and everything's good and the food is warm and arrives at the right time and everyone gets what they paid for. But why am I not getting the Instagram views that I thought? Why is this video that I edited not working out? And so it allows you that space to figure out why you got disappointed. And I'd rather be optimistic and think that I'm going to do great than just aim for the minimum and see what happens. That's my mentality on this.
So when you fail, it happens to everyone every time. You make sure you analyze really what you did wrong and what you could improve. That's a big part of your go-to.
Yeah, you'll have holes in your strategy when you start anything, because you started with an imperfect idea, and you'll quickly realize that the world responds to it in different ways that maybe you didn't expect. So you gotta be prepared to adjust your scope and adjust the way you do things, and figure out what is that gap. Why is that gap between what I thought was gonna happen and what actually happened there? Is it that I need to improve my marketing? Is it that I need to improve my communication? Is it that my idea is not targeted at the right people? Is it that, et cetera, et cetera? And so you'll have a lot of that space where this didn't work. Why? And then you have to go and do the work as to why that didn't work.
Yeah, definitely. But it's so interesting, because if I look at myself, and maybe people can relate, but when I fail, oftentimes I take it very personally. Maybe it's a part of ego, but I take it so personally, and sometimes it's very hard to get into that and say, okay, no, you're just human. You're not perfect. You're not a genius, and so you have this capacity to detach yourself from the failure, and there is Nicolas, and there is the failure, because that's what seems to be the case when you say, okay, I just analyze and very rational and.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this has been me forever. I think I've had to also learn a bit this thought, because I 100% took things personally when it didn't work. I think today still there are some things that I take personally if they don't work. and it's something that I need to learn. I'm not sure how much of this is the right mentality or not. I've definitely learned how to separate those things, but I took things personally for sure, and that's okay. You just have to learn, what was in your control at that point. What could I have as a person done better to make the result go out? But you can be disappointed in yourself. I mean, there were days wherein I sat on my bed and I didn't do the work. Something didn't work out. I am the sole responsible person for this, and I take that personally. Or someone doesn't like my idea at first, I take it personally. How could he think that my event was not going to work out? But he is a person, I am a person. Yeah, separate a bit those concepts. Still working on it, but it's okay to take things personally when they go wrong. Just another point of improvement. Why do you take them personally?
Would you share a big failure that you had recently or throughout the past few years?
The first big failure was at the Dolder Grand, when I realized that I wasn't at the level they expected of me at the first few months. It had to do with the fact that I was still learning German. There were things I couldn't understand that they were telling me. There was a level of responsibility that I wasn't taking. I should have taken more notes to make sure I didn't forget anything. There were days that, as the leader of the event, I forgot something important, and that looks really bad on you, on your boss, on everyone that's working in your team, on the organizer. And for many months, I thought, I'm actually too stupid for this job. I can't do it. So that was a big failure, and that was also a moment where I was like, okay, why is this happening? What part of myself do I need to improve for this to stop happening, for me to keep failing? And when you do multiple events back to back to back to back, you're not going to improve from one day to the next. So it was, I failed something in this event. I failed something in this event. I forgot something on this event, etc., etc.
You feel drawn.
Yeah, definitely. And that can go on for multiple months. I had a lot of super long shifts, a lot of over hours, and you kind of start going crazy. So you need to go through failure in a way to also get to the top, or to get to the next step. And it just happens. So that was my first big failure. And the next one, I guess, is kind of a daily thing. Is okay, now that I've done 2 events, I thought I would do this well in these events financially, let's say, but then they don't end up giving out as much money as you thought. Or maybe you even have to pay some of it from your own pocket. That is a failure in my book, because you threw an event that made you lose money. Usually not how you should be doing events. Okay, what happened? What did I do wrong in my planning for this to go this way? How can I, in the next event, reduce costs here and there, or how? And so I still would say that I haven't fully reached event success. I feel like I can still give much more. I feel like I can still film up more people coming to the events, and I can still make more money. I just haven't gotten there yet. So it's a constant progress. Okay, these 2 turned out this way. That was bad from this. That was good from this. Let's keep going. And it's actually what every entrepreneurial person has to go through, is the failures. Every single person says it. So now that I'm going through it, I can just be like, well, I guess this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, but you can't get away without failures. Actually, if it's too easy, then something is going wrong. You're not good enough, or you're not doing something different enough, and you won't be that successful. If everything's going right, then whatever. So if things are going wrong, then I think it means that you're on the way to things going right.
What's the big next events for the A circuit? What do you have planned for people?
So the A circuit as a event organization, we had Zug the game just now, which was very positive on the organizational side. And I think we're going to go to a city, so either Lausanne or Zurich the game, and try to get another step into building a community of people doing something different in their weekend, checking out a game with their friends, and enjoying a bit their Saturday. So Zurich and Lausanne, the games are being planned. We'll see exactly how they go. It'll be in a few months still.
By the end of the year?
I think there'll be one by the end of the year, yeah. And definitely another one at the start of next year, going back to a canton, most likely. because I think there is place here to build a community and people want this. And the last event was super successful with people finding it, this is awesome. This is way more fun than I thought it would be. I get to walk around with my friends and do fun things. That's on the A Circuit planning events. On the A Circuit presenting, I'm going to Crans-Montana this weekend as I have a press accreditation to film and to do content for UTMB, which is an ultra marathon. So I have a friend of mine doing it, and so I'm going there to make a video, explain to people how it works, and upload it to social media. And then I'm going to America, to Utah, at the end of this month to present the 4th stop of the World Downhill Skateboarding Championship, which is a World Cup of guys going super fast down the hill on a little skateboard. And it's a professional scene to it, and it's the best. The people are amazing, the competition is intense, and it's guys going down on a skateboard. It's visually incredible. So that's one of the big contracts that kind of had to force me to make a decision. And I feel comfortable there. I feel like I'm doing good work. I'm presenting the event while doing good social media content. So that's that for September. And then coming up in October, November, December, I also have another World Cup, which is the Formula One Powerboat World Cup, which is the highest level of powerboat racing. So it's like Formula One cars, but there's boats. I'm going to Saudi Arabia. I'm going to Dubai. I will go to El Salvador for downhill skateboarding. And there may be extra projects in there and new World Cups that are slowly starting to appear. So we'll see. So end of the year will be pretty cool. Less intense than summer, I think, but it'll give me time to keep improving myself, my art, and good things going forward.
Wow, lots of travel, lots of meeting new people, and lots of experience. Well, I think I wish you very good luck in all these endeavors that you have in front of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicolas, for the conversation. That has been a pleasure, and I'm sure it has helped more the community. And thank you very much for your time.
Good, I hope so. I mean, I'm super open to helping as well. I love the EHL community I have around me. I think there's incredible people in this coming out of this school, in this school, and I think I'm excited to see also what everyone else around me does. I'm always open to questions, to texts, or to help. I have also a big network in the hospitality industry, and video, and event organization. So I would love to talk to more EHLers, hang out more with the family. And thank you as well, Elliot, for having me. I think these podcasts are really good for us, for me to see other people and what they're doing, to know how they got there, and to get valuable insights from people that have a similar path or that have had some similar ideas. I think it's going to work out well, and I wish you a lot of success as well on this end. It's going to be great.
Thank you, sir. I feel honored.
Amazing, man.
Dear listeners, my name is Elliot. I'm an EHL student, and my goal is to share with you the stories of our alumni so that you can get inspired. Stay tuned, many episodes are coming, and see you soon.